Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Criterion Connection. I'm Wade,
And I'm Joe.
and we're doing a Christmas episode for once. You know how sometimes we do like a film and like, man, that would be great for a different holiday. We didn't think about it. This time, this is actually a Christmas film, kind of. I mean, it takes place in Christmas, but it's not really like Santa Claus is coming down to town or anything like that. We're doing My Night at Maud's from 1969 by Eric Rohmer. And it's about a man's night at Maud's. There's a lot more to it, but
Well,
a lot of the movie takes place at Maud's.
yeah, so I went into this pretty blind.
Same.
And so when the movie starts and I'm watching it, I'm like, this reminds me of French New Wave. And that's what it is.
Yep.
It's a French New Wave film without the crazy editing.
Yeah.
Um,
It's Eric Rohmer's. It's the third
in the
of the moral tales.
six moral tales.
Yeah, which I have no clue, no history, no idea what those are. I've seen like the picture
Yeah,
on the Criterion site, but I've never looked into it.
yeah, it's a series of films that he did.
Yeah.
It's hard to talk about some of these French New Wave films. They have a very distinctive feel to them. So if you had seen something before, you're just going to come in and like it'll take a little bit, but you'll start getting like, hey, this kind of feels like a French New Wave.
Yes.
Because it's very like it's minimal plot. It's a lot of character interaction, and a lot of times it's really like mundane,
Yes.
Stuff. And there's shot like Romer. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. He's making it, and he lingers on shots like a little bit longer, as opposed to like some of the almost I forgot what the term was, but it was like a nonsensical editing of like a older like Godard movie, and you just kind of follow this character through like I don't know like a week because there's like a New Year's part.
Yeah, like Jean Louis is the main character.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Catholic priest.
No, he's not a priest.
He's not a priest. He's very Catholic.
He's a Catholic. He's a devout Catholic.
Yeah.
And he's an engineer who studies math in his spare time.
Yeah, and that's sounds like a very exciting person.
Yeah, when they do a close up shot of like the textbook, I'm like, oh, I remember those.
Yeah, and his good friend Vidal is a Marxist. But just like
kinda, yeah. He's a philosophy professor.
He's the kind of the opposite of what Jean Louis is.
Yeah, This film is very
science versus ideology and religion.
Yeah, it's these characters talking about the cross section of math, philosophy, religion, and how it all works. And one of the big components is they're in Clermont, which is where Pascal's from, and they talk about Pascal a lot.
Yes, they do.
He's for those none the wiser, an old mathematician and philosopher from France. So they talk about his ideas and like kind of wax poetic of like, well, I don't really think it crosses over with religion the way you think it does, and I don't think they're mutually exclusive. And like they really try and at one point Maud and Vidal are really like trying to crack open Jean-Louis and kind of say he's being hypocritical at times because of his past being quote unquote a womanizer, where he's just like, no, like I didn't have one night stands, like these were women I cared about, and it's whatever. And like kind of seeing his feelings on what kind of like future it has as like for marriage, right? Because it's a very sacred act in Catholicism. There's no like allowances for divorce, and he's like, well, I don't care if other people get divorced, but like for me, I'm not going to get divorced.
Yeah.
And it's this just character kind of study about this man and like finding romantic interests, whether it's Maud or Francois, who we meet essentially from a distance until we later learn her name.
Yeah.
And
fun fact, Maud is played by an actress named Francois Fabian.
Uh-huh.
The opposite love interest, I guess, is named Francois. Her name is not Maud, though. It's Marie Christine. Yeah. So it's not. But I thought it was like a little interesting. Like, oh, that's interesting about the names.
Yeah, and it's really hard to kind of talk a lot about this film. I mean, I think
at the end of the day, it's very up to, like I said, it's about like I mean, there's science for religion, also stuff like the choice between Maud and Francois are very different. Like Francois is kind of, I don't want to say safe.
Well, and Maud challenges him.
Maud's challenging him. Francois probably would not.
Yeah, I think it's that kind of interplay of passion versus likeness.
Yeah, ideology and stuff.
Yeah, because Francois and Jean-Louis, they're both devout Catholics. They go to mass together after a while. And it's fulfilling for him to a degree, right? Like somebody that shares these common interests with you.
But that can also be kind of boring and mundane.
Exactly. And Maud is exciting and challenging and pushes his buttons.
She entices him to like get in bed.
And very early on, and just really kind of it's very coy, like cat and mouse kind of thing, and that's exciting, and he has to kind of decide between them. But
he even says he's not gonna, he doesn't believe he could ever be a saint. Like, he doesn't want to be a saint, but he's like, he just wants to be a just guy in mediocrity. You know what I mean? Like he's very mediocre of a person, I guess. To where like Maud is a very that could probably flavor his life a little bit more.
Yeah.
And what choice would he choose? And is there consequences to that choice that he is unaware of? Especially at the end when they reveal something about a certain character, a revelation, and you're like, oh, well, that changes kind of things a lot.
Yeah, and
because the character you think is wholesome, kind of isn't wholesome.
The appearances were deceiving.
Yeah,
there's a lot of these kind of traits that you find in those French New Wave films. Like you have kind of plain characters, kind of living through their life. Nothing extremely spectacular a lot of the time. You're following them. It makes me think of Cleo from 5 to 7, where you're following this character through through their life. And the dead giveaway is the camera work, where it's guerrilla filmmaking. Cameraman sitting in the back seat filming. Them driving on, these French streets.
So I want to kind of get into spoilers real quick. Okay. Spoiler warning here about the ending at the beach. I like how at the end of the day he picks Francois, the safe bet.
Right.
And then 5 years later they have a kid, stuff like that. They run into Maud at the beach. And Maud, interesting, it's not just Jean-Louis, it's also Maud. Like, if Jean-Louis chose her, maybe they have she would have a more stable marriage.
Yeah.
She's going through another unhappy marriage.
Right.
So it's like the decision also affects her, in essence.
Well, yeah, this is one of those, like, victims of circumstance thing, where Maud and Jean-Louis complement each other in a way that's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic.
And it's not overly done to where like,
Yeah.
oh, they're meant to be. There's no,
No,
like
no.
super big like, tension between them. It's just like you think they got some chemistry there.
There's chemistry
that they could explore.
and they have an interesting dynamic that each of them feel challenged by the other, and we see that in the earlier Night at Maud scene. What ends up happening is Maud is leaving and constantly kind of reinforces the idea of, I'm not meant for you, I'm not part of your requirements, I'm not Catholic, these kinds of things. And it's really each of them kind of snuffing out that candle before it's ever lit.
Yeah.
Because they share moments and they kiss and have these romantic moments together. And it's one of those, like, in a perfect world, they would have chosen each other.
Yeah.
But, things happen, life goes on.
And it's alluded, I believe, if I remember it correctly, that Maud's first marriage fell apart due to infidelity.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's
because it's both of them had extramarital affairs.
Yeah.
But they grew apart. Yeah. And the marriage kind of was dissolving, and like he had a mistress and she had a lover. It was really messy, and she was like, it was better for everybody that we got divorced, because there wasn't the bond anymore. And even with a child, it's like, she's like, you don't want a child growing up with bickering parents all the time,
And you learn that Francois was the mistress. And you're like, oh, and then that's what we alluded to before of like the cookie cutter, like perfect,
the girl next door
choice for Jean-Louis has some baggage.
Yeah,
it's not perfect, just like Jean-Louis is not perfect.
Yeah, he's not, and he says that throughout the whole film. He's like, I'm not perfect. I'm not a saint.
And at the end, he accepts it.
Yeah,
he's like, whatever. And I'm like, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's a nice thing, because he realized like, you're flawed just like I am.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, it also probably adds a little bit more to his intrigue because it makes her a little bit more like, not devious, but you know what I mean, like a little bit more.
There's
exciting.
More layers.
Yeah, more layers that he can learn. So Joe, would you recommend this to the general audience?
No.
Okay. I'm also kind of the same boat.
If
you like French New Wave, watch it.
Yeah.
If you like Christmas movies, you might want to watch them up. It's Christmas Carol or something like that.
Yeah, it's
Wonderful Life.
I've never been a huge French New Wave fan. It's always kind of, I always want a little more.
Yeah. It's too minimal for you.
It's not even that. It's just, I don't know. I can't ever put my finger on what it is that like just feels off for me, that it doesn't engage with me very much.
I feel like this movie, there was a lot of, the characters are interesting, but I do think it lingers too long. I think it meanders a little too long. I think maybe I just watched it in the wrong headspace. I don't think I was expecting it to be such philosophical discussions.
I think it's a good film.
Yeah.
I did not.
It's not bad.
I didn't dislike this film. But I mean, very similar to how my reaction when I first watched Cleo from 5 to 7. I just kind of it's just the tug isn't there for me personally. I can respect what they're doing, but it just doesn't grab me in the same way as some of the other film movements. And that being said, like, I haven't watched every French New Wave film, so I can't wait till we get to one where I can gush about it. But to me, we're on the cusp of me being able to recommend this to a general audience. I just don't think
it's there.
Yeah, I just don't think people are going to be thrilled about this, and it's just not like enough, I think, to grab onto for your general audience.
Well, that's going to be definitely in the comments section below.
Yeah,
Or
sure.
people are going to bring up like how you guys don't know French New Wave. Maybe I just don't. It's just not my cup of tea. But that's our thoughts on My Night at Maud's. Let us know in the comment section below what you think about the film. Like, subscribe, and share. This is the last video of 2025 for Criterion Connection. So make suggestions for what we should do next year. There's a lot of movies that we have not done, and we've just been busy, and we got to catch up on some movies.
We haven't done the two big French New Wave films.
Really? Which ones would they be?
400 Blows
Oh, we have not
and
done
Breathless.
that. We have not. I keep thinking we've done Breathless, but I don't think we have. Okay.
No, we've talked about it about 1,000 times.
Well, maybe we'll do Breathless next year, or make some other suggestions. Is there a French New Wave film that we have not done that you feel like, you guys have not watched the quintessential French New Wave film that we want you to watch? That's going to get you. It's going to get us involved and be like, yes, I'm down.
I think a poll between 400 Blows and Breathless would be interesting.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Maybe just make suggestions right now. Just do it now. And be sure to go on Letterboxd and check us out on Criterion Connection so you can see all the movies we've done and see how many you have watched as well. Yeah, so that's about it. So until next time, I'm Wade.
And I'm still Joe.
And we will see you later next year.